Are we doing it?
Trying.
We did
Okay,
it.
we are. We're live. We did it. We are now 5
Yes.
seconds in. It says okay.
Wow.
So we're just gonna get straight to it. I'm gonna do quick introductions. If you're new here, I'm Brittany Brainstorm, and I'm the owner of the creative agency Brainstorm Boutique. And tonight I'm joined with my sister, who is my right-hand person. She is a very talented designer and a confidence coach, and it does a lot of really cool stuff. If you missed our interview with Rocio last week, make sure you watch that because we go in depth on what Casey does, and we'll have to do another one of those. I need to interview you, Casey. So, but tonight tonight it's not about us, and we have the very talented Kelsey Kattenbraker of Katt Films. And Kelsey, forgive me if I accidentally call you Kat a few times because
honestly, a lot of people call me Kat, and I always tell them like it's kind of like an honor because my dad. A lot of people call my dad Kat. Like he works in the coal mines. So, well, he used to work in the coal mines, and Kat was his name. So, in a way, when someone calls me Kat, I'm like, I'll take it. Like,
Lovable.
the name still goes.
Okay, well, that's so good to hear because I swear there's like so many times where I'm like typing in your name and I put in Kat instead of Kelsey. I'm like, why is she not coming up? I'm like, it's Kelsey's the first name, of course. But we have Kelsey here with Katt Films, and Kelsey, I'm just really excited to talk to you tonight because we've had the opportunity to connect during the pandemic. I think is when we I've known about you, but I don't feel like our worlds ever collided until, which is really weird during this crazy time. And so I know a little bit about your story, but I'm excited to kind of ask more questions and go a little more in depth. So I'm going to stop talking. And Kelsey, I want you to just introduce yourself and give us a little background on what you do, and then we'll ask you more questions.
Okay. Well, I'm Kelsey Kattenbraker. I mainly do wedding videos, and I do branding videos as well. I do like photography, restaurants, little promo videos for that. Kind of, easing into that as well.
Yeah.
And I do this full time, and it's something I never thought I would ever do. Like own my own business. I used to think, oh wow, like I could never imagine making a living doing something I actually love.
Oh my gosh.
Being giddy, like to wake up the next morning and being like, oh, I can't wait to like go to my office, which is like right next to my bedroom. And, and like
that commute every morning.
Yeah. No road rage.
So nice.
No road rage.
But it's been like a crazy couple years.
Wow.
About that. Yeah.
That's so exciting. Okay, so when did you, because you had, was it a marketing position originally?
Yes. I worked at Mary Toyota, a dealership, and that's honestly what got me into videography. And I have a photo. I'm actually going to post it tomorrow. I finally found it. And like I think it was like 2016, and like they do this event called like the Share the Love event, and like me and my boss had this little like Kodak camera that's like this big, and like we had like all the Subaru salespeople like sing the Share the Love song since that's their event.
Oh my gosh.
And like, he did the editing, but like I was like a part of that, and I was like, this is so cool. Like, like the whole process of it. And I thought it was like the neatest thing. And then we did like some other small things throughout the dealership, and I just, got me thinking like, I wonder if I bought my own nicer, obviously like a nicer camera, what what would happen. And then I was like, I don't even know what I would shoot. And I think I've always been like a big like Hallmark romantic person. And I had like saw like randomly or like a wedding video on like Instagram, and I was like, that's really neat. But I was like, I think I can do that, and I think I would like that. So I luckily, like, one of my friends, she was engaged at the time, and I was like, hey, let me shoot you, please.
I love that.
Like,
Well, let me just add, I love that sentence completely out of context. Like, let me shoot you,
yeah,
please.
yeah, let me just shoot you.
It would mean everything to me.
Yeah.
Let me shoot you.
Please. It's my wedding gift.
I love that.
I like shot like a little engagement video of them.
Wow.
Like just, kind of like we're engaged, getting my feet wet, and I was like, I love it. Like it was kind of like nerve-wracking, like, making or helping them with posing and everything, since like I had never been around photography really. I took an online class. Well, it's like an online like 60-hour thing all about videography. And that's how I learned how to use my own camera.
Cool.
But, I found out that I loved shooting video. I loved like the editing. I loved, being around the people. But, weddings was always my focus. But I would reach out to businesses. I think Ruby's Attic in DuQuoin,
Oh, yeah.
and then my dog groomer. I reached out to her and I was like, "Can I shoot you like a promo video, like to kind of?" Those aren't buried, by the way, but and that was like in 2018 that I shot those. But it's just kind of like being like, well, if I'm going to do a wedding, obviously I need like a little bit more confidence on the video side, and you can't really mess up a business too bad. So
especially if you already have that relationship built there where they kind of give you that opportunity to play and learn, and they get something in return, and then it's a learning experience for you.
Oh my gosh, yes. And I learned so much. I think I shot like all these like random business videos for a while in the beginning, and then shot my first video, and like it was like the hottest day of the year. I was there with the couple for like 13 hours.
Oh gosh.
And I was like driving up there and like trying to like pump myself up and be like, okay, like this is gonna go really good or like not so good.
Yeah.
And like after the like 13-hour day, I was like, that was great. Like I'm tired. Like, I feel like I could use some water, but I really like it. So.
Did you see Elena's post that said or that she shared something? It was like on her Instagram stories, but it was like,
was it this morning?
Yeah, and it was like, I don't want to work a 9-to-5 job. And then it was like, so I started working 24 hours a day.
I showed my fiance that, and I was like cracking up. Like I was like dying, and he was like, I don't get it. And I was like,
I laughed so hard. I was like personally attacked.
Yeah. I was like, it's because like I'm messaging people, like if someone reaches out, like
definitely.
I'm not like a big, like hustle person. Like I know that can be really toxic, but I do know that there are certain times in a growing business that you have to work longer and harder. Like, and I'll have like slower times, but I keep telling John, I'm like, this is going to be a long year. Like, you're not really going to see me a whole lot on the weekends.
On the weekend.
But, next year it's going to like get better. But I was like, with the COVID and, the new brides, and then it's just a lot, but I love it. But I was like, next year it's gonna be slow. It's gonna be not slow, but like it's gonna be like not as intense as
So let me ask you this: you were working your full-time job. You're learning a lot of awesome things during that job, and then you started. I don't want to use the word playing, but when you're doing something creative at first, you're figuring it out. You're giving yourself room to learn how it works and really learn your own style. I think that is probably one of the areas I find the most interesting is when we do learn something new, we tend to look outside for influence and for direction, and then interpret it in our own way. What was that like for you when you were trying to like discover your style in videography?
I honestly really didn't find my style until like, and now it's honestly kind of changed a little bit more, but until like the end of like the fall, like September was when I actually found like what I was, like I was starting to shift gears to what I like to, how I shot everything, how I like pieced everything together. In the beginning, I was just kind of like, I wasn't obviously copying, but I had my like wedding videography idols, and I'd watch how they're shoot, and I would just watch a lot of wedding videos. And now I'm trying to like make myself not watch videos, because everyone seems to have like a similar but like different style, and I'm not like connecting with them, which is good. Like everyone needs to like kind of have their own. It just takes time, but I like to have that like creative story and the funness of it, the fresh feel.
I feel like that's something I always connect with your wedding videos when you share them, is that you truly do know how to tell the story of like the entire day and the couple. Like Casey, I know there's times you and I will maybe be talking more publicly, but like you and I will talk like on the side, like, oh my gosh, did you see that? It was so pretty. And it's I can tell that for you, like making sure that you tell the love story in its entirety is really important. And sometimes what you see, and it's not bad, it's not wrong, everyone has different things. Like it might be like a highlight reel, but then you don't really get like that in-depth, story of the couple.
There's like a beginning, middle, and end to your videos. Like it's very obvious.
Thank you. No, that's always what I've like achieved.
Yes.
Like, hoped, and I always like, if I know I'm not like for everyone, and like some people are just like the highlight videos made a certain way, but like I like having the story, kind of trying to get to know my couples and like what's they truly like, what their story was about. Like audio is like my favorite thing, because if you don't talk, like when it comes to a video, I like voices. Like when I'm thinking like someone watching it 10 years down the road, I want them to hear their mom's voice or their husband's voice, like tearing up to his vows. Like I've had 2 or 3 brides lose their parents, like lose one parent since shooting their wedding, and they're like hearing their voices, seeing their actual movement, in a video is like something I could never get in my photo, which photos are amazing, but like hearing the voice is something that is, you can't get back if you don't have a whole lot of videos of that. But and that's something I always try and highlight in my videos. I'm like, well, I don't have grandparents. So I'm always like shooting the grandparents, asking the grandparents, like, would you like to say something? Like, like they might really appreciate that.
That's such a good
experience too. Like that would be really,
like it's just like the little things like that. Like I just
definitely.
And weddings are those rare moments for some, for a lot of families, and everyone's different, and dynamics are different, but for most families, that's that one time where everyone's together, everyone's dressed their best, everyone's in a happy and excited mood, and it really is such a great opportunity to capitalize on that for these lifetime memories. And Kelsey, I know one of the things that I've talked to you, like we've talked about finding those words and ways to describe, your business is, like heirloom time capsules for couples, because it's like, it's a moment in time that now they have forever, and they can always go back and replay and remember this era of their lives and the people who were a part of it. And then, so that's another thing, when we're talking about your style, is you've expressed to me that you're really big into incorporating like family, actually like old family videos.
Yes. I actually have one coming up finally. Like, I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay, talk about that. Like what like your goal is with that, and like what your like dream, like if someone was like, Kelsey, do whatever you want to my wedding
and they
video.
actually
like,
did. They're like, we trust you.
That's such a that's so wonderful.
Because like I've done a few to like I've been able to piece them in, but it's not, like they have their vision and I want to respect it.
Mm-hmm.
But this one they're just letting me take the reins, but it's a couple, and like obviously their family is actually all still alive, and it's just more of like they're a really close-knit family, so they have and they also have a lot of family footage of growing up to like high school. Like they were the type of family that recorded everything, and I'm like, you guys are my people. Because that's how my dad and mom was. Like we have so many tapes of like everything from the time we were in high school. So
oh my gosh, really?
And, yes.
Wow.
That's
like,
awesome.
Okay.
But
from like camcorders?
Yeah, he had VHS,
VHS.
camcorders, and then like the smaller little Sony
handheld ones.
tapes. Yes.
Okay, so. I was like, because if it was iPhone, we are different ages. Very different ages.
But no, it's and that's something I really just kind of wanted to capitalize, is showing like that entire like connect. It's kind of hard to explain, like the connecting the pieces of yes.
Yeah. Wow.
So
I love that.
I can't wait to see that.
I'm dying for that day.
Oh my gosh. So have you shot the wedding yet?
No, it is coming up in the fall.
So. Oh, and it's gonna be a fall wedding. So all the nostalgia.
Yes.
Oh,
and I'm
love
actually digitizing their VHSs as well too, to where I'll have kind of like from the beginning to the end.
Wow. Okay, and you actually do that as a service, right?
Yes.
Like, so if my mom was like, Kelsey, here's all our VHS, make magic.
Our mom is like that. She absolutely is like that.
No, so, yeah, actually I did. I've had someone drop off like 20. I've had someone drop off like 50 tapes.
Wow.
But like they're all VHS, some the small ones, and I just kind of like go down the line and digitize them all. And I kind of obviously they're very special, and so I treat them with like great care. But
do you watch them while you do it?
Not
just,
really.
Like, let them play.
I'll let them play. Sometimes, like I'll like have to watch them, make sure like I can like stop and move on to the next one
or something.
Yeah, but some are like like babies and toddlers, and I'm like, and then
so cute.
I digitized one in the winter, this past winter, and they recorded every Christmas from like one, like they think their son was like 5, or one of their sons were like 5, and then now like the last one I did was like he had his own baby. And I was like,
get out of here.
I was like, you guys,
your Hallmark life.
I know.
I can't handle that.
It was it was like an awesome kind of thing to see like their Christmas every year.
Oh my gosh.
Kelsey, I think that's the thing I love about you, is like you're so like your business is just like around like love and family and connection, and that has to feel so good.
It really is. And memories. Like I said, I honestly I work a ton more than than my full-time job. But it doesn't feel like work. Like maybe like a 1 to 2%. I'm always like, that was a hard day. But like the 98% of the days, I'm like, I can't wait to wake up and do it again tomorrow.
Oh, we have a comment here. Andrea DeYoung, she's with Bubby's Boutique. She said, I need to do that every Christmas now. Yes,
I'm
you
gonna
do.
be that mom. I'm gonna be that mom.
Yes.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I'm already like recording. Like, I think I have like a ton of videos of John and then like of my parents, and
Yeah.
I need like I'm like the worst person when it comes to like doing
Mm,
my own
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
family.
You know,
like,
and I feel like the quality, so this sounds silly because I know we all have like 4K cameras on our
yeah.
phones and stuff. The quality of a VHS tape, I love it. I am for
Mhm.
it. I think it cannot be beat. The nostalgia with a VHS is like we're like trying to recreate that look with our filters and
Yes.
all of those things, you know, and it's, I mean, I'm partial, but
I think that,
I
like,
do love
Yeah,
VHS.
no.
like, we've
I-
collectively decided that we don't want to see our own pores.
Yeah.
Like, we
Oh,
got
yeah.
the
Like
technology
when the
to see our
quality is
pores.
too good to where I'm like, wow, like that
Like,
might
Mm.
look.
I don't really like that.
I like that like regular VHS filter.
Yeah,
you
just
know?
give me
Just
just
a
a little bit of
soft
TV
little-
static.
Yeah.
Make
A
her look
little-
good.
A little static, a little noise, never hurt
Yes.
your complexion.
Yeah, I used to be able to do this on VHS and it didn't like break my filter.
Oh my gosh. Well, and that's something I'm actually going to be offering to my couples this fall is I'm going to actually have like a handheld camera, and it's like I'll give it to like the bridal party, and like especially it's going to be great for like
Oh,
party buses if I'm not with the
yeah.
groom.
Oh,
Some
how
grooms are like,
fun.
you're a chick. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't be myself sometimes.
Oh my
And which
Oh,
is
god.
fine.
yeah.
I get it. And like I get it, who wants to
They like
so
want to censor
I'd be like,
themselves
I'll
a
like
little
use
bit.
a camera if you want to like act silly with it.
Oh, that's so
That's so
fun.
cool.
So
I love that.
I love that.
I love how you think of like all these other extra ways to bring this into your business, you know?
yeah. Well, I'm like one of those like weird people, which I'm sure like a lot of people do this. Like I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, I have that idea. I'm like write this down in my notes. Just like
Yes.
need to like look into this more,
Yeah.
driving
I
down the
love that.
road.
I do love that. Okay, so we've talked about, kind of where you were, what you're doing, but we didn't talk about like that decision. Like Kelsey's like going to work, and I love that car dealership. That's where I bought my car. And it's like you're going to work there and you love what you're doing, but then you're like, I don't know, were you getting more and more clients? Was it like I just am ready to go in this direction? Like what made that decision for you?
Well, and honestly, it was a quick, I think it was 2019. Like it was like the fall of 2019. I worked really closely with a lady who like we had our desks right next to each other, and I'm like, I think I'm starting to get like kind of busy to where I'm gonna have to leave. Like we were very close, and she was like, yeah, okay, like you're gonna leave. Which she was very supportive, but she was always like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I started shooting more weddings, and by December, I had 10 weddings, and then I had 10 weddings, and then I think I had like 5 branding with 2 to 3 out of state. So I was going to 3 different states
Girl.
too.
Wow.
And I at the time only got like 2 weeks of vacation there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was I already had Friday weddings kind of set aside, and then I think in January, it was within like 2 weeks, I had 10 more weddings. So I had like 20 weddings. And I was like,
oh my gosh,
I'm not going to be able to like keep up with this, because I was like already. I'll get off work at 5, I'll eat, and then I'll edit like 5 to 6 hours a night. So I'd be, and I was like, so I put in my 2 weeks, and then my last day was February the 13th in 2020.
Wow.
Which if you do the math, that was around like 4 to 3 weeks before the country shut down.
Wow. Okay. So I always hate like talking about COVID, but it really is such an impactful part of a lot of people's stories.
Yes.
What was that like for you? So you're like, you're newly like fresh in your business.
I was like,
and
I'm
then
living my
what
best
happened?
life. And
Yes.
yeah, it was scary, because I all of a sudden within a week I had brides that was getting, they were getting married in March and April, and it was pretty clear those weren't going to happen. So obviously I was losing those clients and getting them pushed back or canceling, and it was scary. But before I quit, I've always been like a Dave Ramsey fan.
Yes.
Yeah, my married Toyota people would always be like, you listen to this guy like religiously, like every day. And I had an emergency fund that I really didn't think I would need. So before I quit, I wanted at least 6 months, of my bills and to live on.
Good for you.
Set aside. I never thought I would have
important.
to use it
wow.
that fast. And
Yeah.
those days were it was a little scary. Like I knew I wasn't gonna starve or anything, but I was like, what did I was, there was like a week or two, I was like, what did I do? Like but honestly, I only had like one or two couples that didn't get married last year.
Wow.
Like three. I was three. So the rest, everything came through, or they would like move their date. They still kept me because I'm in a lot of videography Facebook pages, and I was just like reading like horror stories after horror stories, and I was like, oh, please don't come after me. But I just kind of communicated with my couples that it would affect, and I think I still shot around 20 something weddings last year.
Oh my gosh.
So
that's
some
amazing.
I was like picking up like
Wow.
a week, like I'd have like a week to plan, or I even had one wedding, like they reached out to me the night before and were like, we're getting married and we're only having like 20 people there, but it needs like video became a very
essential
vendor, and we were often we're often like the last to be booked. But last year I was finding myself to be like one of the first, second.
Because how else are you gonna like in micro weddings? There aren't like 250 people got to show up. It's like the one thing you have to share to friends and family, and
it really blew my mind of just all of the support I had from my couples to people reaching out. I think I was still editing videos up until like January yesterday when I finally got caught up from my year. So,
girl.
And I was like, that wasn't a bad year. And this year I will be like doubling my income from last year. So.
Wow!
Oh my gosh! Go Kelsey!
Well, you're so good. It's so beautiful. Everything you do is so beautiful.
It's true.
And it's it's honestly just an honor being at everyone's wedding and like having them want me to be there and like witness it and document it. And I always tell my couples, I try and like your wedding is just as like important to me as if it was like my best friend's wedding or like my own wedding. Like I would shoot it how I want, I would treat you and shoot it how I would want my own wedding shot.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And it's just something I'm very passionate about.
You really, I mean, I feel like as a new business owner, like making that decision, things happening as they did in the world, if you can survive that, like nothing, like you must feel like you can handle anything that comes your way, right? Do you feel like
I didn't
like do you
finally
look back
get that
and
feeling? Yeah. It kind of blows my mind because I was like, wow, like I handled that pretty okay, I guess. Like, and like I didn't like see it until like February of this year. Like I was like when tax time and everything, and I was like, I did okay. Like, like I didn't
Good.
panic, I treated everyone with respect, and it worked out well. But
Wow.
I would have never thought that, obviously before I quit my job, I was always like a thinker, like, oh my goodness, like what happens if like something crazy were to happen? And I remember telling
Right.
my mom that right before I put in my notice, because obviously the dealership did not shut down. So,
Yeah.
and she was like, oh, it's going to be fine. Worst comes to
Mm.
worst, you have your emergency fund.
Mm.
And yeah, and I was like, that's something I always tell people who have reached out, telling me that they
Mm.
want to go full time in that, and like what I would like recommend them
Yeah.
to do. And I'm always like, have like an emergency fund. Like
Mhm.
that's vital, because you kind of depend on other people,
Mm.
for work, and you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So
So you totally just said and answered my next question for you, which was, what would you advise someone who wants to make that leap from full time, or from, their 9 to 5 to full time in their business? Definitely that emergency fund's huge, because you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. And you want to make sure that you can live for 6 months and be in a good, safe spot. Um, what else is there anything else you would recommend someone to do?
well, I was plotting, like this business kind of had like it's been in the works since, in a way, since 2017.
Mm.
So it was, a thought. Like I was always listening to those podcasts, like
Yeah.
motivational people. And then once I, it started to come, I was like, okay, I need to, not have, you know, obviously some people have student loans, but my goal was to not
Mm-hmm.
have no debt as I can get it to.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So, obviously the less bills I have,
Mm-hmm.
the less I would have to worry about like making per month, which obviously the
Yeah.
more, if I make more in that month, it works out. But, if I have a slow month, like, okay, I know I have this amount I need to
Mm.
make. Um, so that was a biggie for me, having, not much debt, and then the emergency fund, and then obviously, the clients was a biggie. I
Mm.
always tell myself, once I got to this amount, it was time to leave.
Wow.
And I it was kind of scary, because I was like, I would have been making a little bit less whenever I left Toyota, but by the end of that year, I actually made more than I had projected
Amazing.
at my
Yes.
full-time job. So, it was like tax
Yes.
time. I figured that out, but I was like, oh my gosh, how did that happen? Like during the
Congratulations on
pandemic
that.
month. So,
Yeah. I love like
That's
just
amazing.
having the math figured out of like
Mm.
this is when it's
yes.
time to go. Cuz some
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh, it's like so abstract, like it's so like blah 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 blah." And really
Mm.
it's not. Like just do
Mm.
the math, do like predict the future a little bit, like look in a little crystal
Yeah.
ball and
Yeah.
like what you're going to need based off of last year, and do some smart math before you make like crazy rash
Mm.
decisions, or before you stay stuck in a situation you're not happy in.
Yeah. That's so true.
Exactly. Yeah, I
Which,
usually don't recommend people like be like, like have like two clients and be like, I'm quitting, and like
mm,
Yeah.
that could be a little
yeah.
scary, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not yet, honey.
yeah,
Cool it.
but honestly, and people would always tell me this whenever I told them like I want to go full time.
Mm.
Like Elena was a big motive, she helped me a lot too.
Yeah.
Like we'd have
Yeah.
little Starbucks meetings on my
Aw,
lunch
She's
break
an
at work.
angel.
she's
We love
precious.
And
her.
and like her and Sarah Roach, which is another photographer, were
Mm.
always just like, once you quit, your business will grow.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like, like once you get that, like you kind of get your name out there more, like and I would always be like, are you sure? Like,
Mm.
are you sure? And like it took them like telling me that a couple more times, and I was like, I think one day I was like, okay, I put in my 2 weeks, like now what? But it did, like it kind of, you know, opened up my weekday availabilities. You know, I could get videos out faster, which, you know, obviously makes clients happier. You know, nothing against anyone who doesn't do this full time, but it, you know, it would take a long time for me to do a video. Like
there's so much to videography.
There really is.
I feel like, you know, all these art forms, they have their own challenges, but you're literally going through and picking out those snippets and moments that come together to tell that story out of hours. Like, you're literally reliving the entire day.
I relive it like a few times. I tell couples, that like, I relive your day, like, and I have your vows memorized by the end of like your wedding. Sometimes John is like, I think I heard that, like, you know, a couple of times I didn't need to, because like you can hear me editing.
Another thing too that you do, we've talked about this, I've seen you post about it, is like, you're pretty hands-on with your couples too, like guiding them through, like helping them make decisions that are going to make their day more special that they may not think about on their own, right?
Yes. Well, and, you know, I didn't really start doing that more until, you know, I left my job, and, you know, it's a lot of communication. Kind of like reaching back and forth, and my goal is, you know, never to push anything on them at all. I just, you know, it's to give them options to kind of, you know, nobody gets married a whole lot. You know, the average person doesn't get married a lot. So like they don't have to think about all these things that they could, you know, they could do, or that can make their day easier. And, you know, I do it every weekend. So
that's cool.
I, you know, kind of guiding them along to, you know, think about certain things ahead of time, and is something like I feel like I wouldn't say like every vendor should do, but, you know, it just kind of like helps the whole experience, I think.
If you have information, share it.
That's what I'm like. You know,
and
even down to teach them how to cut a cake. Like,
exactly,
cuts a wedding cake every weekend. So.
Oh my gosh, that, you know, that is so true, because if people don't know what to do in a way that helps you get a shot for their, you know, because if the hand's covering something, or, you know, if something's done at the wrong angle, like, you're able to kind of give people, and especially, you know, a photographer as well, but you know, if one person's a little more directive, you can make sure that they're going to see that scene unfold long after. In the moment, they may just, you know, whatever, but then they might be doing it to where it doesn't relay in film as well.
And like less awkward, less stress is going to be like way easier on everyone involved, especially if you're looking back at it.
Yes. Well, and I always, you know, I'm not like a big posy person. Like, obviously, you know, I'll get like, obviously, like typical shots, but I always like to like advocate like the more natural it, you know, it feels, the more natural it's going to look on video and photos too. But, you know, if you're stressed and like confused, and, you know, like it's going to show. So,
and you're not going to like it.
No,
because nobody likes what confusion looks like.
No,
nobody likes that.
You know, in the beginning, and, you know, I would witness that, and I'd be like, why, you know, like I'll go home thinking like that could have gone better. You know, I could have did this to help them. And that's whenever I started being like, okay, like I'm gonna start being a little bit more proactive in guiding these couples in throughout their day. So.
That's so cool.
I love that. Well, you know, and so many of us are so awkward, like in front of a camera, that having direction really just makes the whole experience better. So I think that's amazing that you do that, and that you really like coach and guide your clients, you know, up, you know, for the wedding day, so they know what to do, or I'm sure before you start filming and that sort of thing. One thing I want to talk about too, because, obviously weddings are a huge part of your business. They were, that was the storytelling you were wanting to tell.
Yeah.
But then you also do branding videos for businesses, right? Is that, you said you were doing that too whenever you were learning videography and putting it all together.
Yes, that was actually my very, very, very first video was a grand opening video. And I honestly still love these. I still love shooting grand opening videos. But I do find myself like I don't push it a whole lot, only because there are certain videos like dealership videos, like motorcycle, those don't like. I could do the research, I could shoot it, but I think from someone who is more like into that kind of area would benefit that client more than how I would. I like, I'm a big, I do shoot like males and like restaurants and stuff, but I am a little bit more picky because once again, I like to be excited and I do my research and like, I shot a YouTube introduction back in it might have been early 2020, I think. But I think I watched like 3 to 4 hours of her YouTube videos. Just kind of like seeing her style, seeing like what she really does like in each video, like how so I do a lot of research, and planning because obviously every business is different, every branding is different, so I'm not going to make a video that makes that's something that's completely different from like her colors to the way her angles are. It varies. But I'm actually going to in August start pushing out dates for I think I'm only taking 5 for Christmas, like the small business Saturday.
Wow. Yes, that's a much needed service.
Which last year I was just too busy and like too late to like get it out. But this year I was like, okay, August, and then my goal is like kind of like I don't want to shoot a video like a promo video for someone that like I kind of want to help them guide them through. I do have that advertising marketing degree. Finally get to use it more, which I use it every day, but
use it every day for yourself.
Yes.
But then to put that into play, like you're not really advertising a wedding, you're telling that story after the fact, but you get to take that storytelling skill and that marketing skill and bring it together for a business. I think that's so awesome, especially now, like a lot of businesses, I always think like Christmas in July is the best time to start planning your Christmas strategy. So if someone right now is like, small business, maybe they sell clothing or gifts or, like a boutique or something like that, like now is the time really to connect with you and to start thinking, how do they want to approach their customers for the holidays? And honestly, that can help them guide what kind of stuff to buy to sell during the holiday season when they're planning all this ahead of time.
Well, and like I already have one client. We are starting to kind of like she's starting to kind of do like, okay, I gave her a list of things to think about, what kind of specials or that she wants to push out for that video. So that's kind of her homework for the month to kind of get, and then in August we're going to meet and kind of go through what she wants to like just kind of like her whole feel and look of her video. So, and I'm going to storyboard it out. And
cool.
That is awesome. I'm always for
too
you.
slow every year, and finally I was like, okay, finally I'm going to get that out. Since my fall is a little busy, I can only take 5 though, and which I'm going to be down to 4 soon.
Wow.
Yeah, people need to get in then.
But then you're able to make sure you're working with people in a niche that you want to work in. And like, that's the thing that I think is most important, especially with videos and photography and that sort of thing, is when you have a certain style, you need to make sure that you're accepting those businesses that you're passionate about to tell their story well. It's not just take on all the businesses so you're making all this money. Like, it has to be fulfilling to you creatively, beyond just that dollar amount.
Well, and like, that's why I am starting that like official advertisements for people who have reached out. I'm like, okay, we can just like start planning now, because July is honestly the best time to start getting those wheels turning for the holidays. But currently I'm like figuring out the correct wording to let businesses know, because I am mainly known as a wedding videographer. To kind of let them know who I'm most open to take. And like, I've had some businesses reach out and I'm like, I'm not the best fit for you, but this person might be. And obviously I want to help everyone find a videographer, even if it's not me. I send people out all the time to someone who's just a better fit. So
I love hearing you say that, because as creatives, it's so important to make those connections with people in your industry, because you can only do so much work. You can only say yes to so many things, and turning away something is not a loss to you. It's an opportunity for someone else. And it just builds more trust, and people know that they can look to you as a leader in this field, in this area, that maybe if Kelsey's not able to take me on, I can trust her judgment of another professional, to lead me to. So I think that's so important. I think sometimes when you start a business, especially in the beginning, and you don't really know the industry or you don't really have the connections yet, it can be a little scary to reach out to similar people, especially like the idea of competition and, this is taking away from me. But I love the fact that you go in with this mindset of, not everyone's for me and I'm not for everybody. And I think that's like the best way to approach a business.
Yes.
It took me some time to like, I've always been like the whole community over competition thing. And like, there was sometimes I'm like, whoa, that person is like really good. But then I'm also like, like our styles are completely different. And, like he has, they have a certain way. They love shooting videos and I have a certain way. And it just finally, registered like, okay, like I'm not for everyone. Just how like whenever I was looking for my own wedding vendors, I'm like, there are so many different types of people, like types of vendors. They all shoot different. they're all great, but and
but
it made me start thinking. So I was like, I'm not everyone's person, and that's fine. And in the beginning, I was taking everyone, and I quickly learned, I'm like, like that's just not the best practice to do, because I could have taken someone's, like just how like I love putting in VHS videos in weddings. Like someone else might have taken a wedding that a couple want that, but like they're like, I don't like doing that, and now I have to do it. So like, that's just kind of how I like to think of things, as like, if I shoot longer videos, and I know people who shoot short videos, and I'm like, this person is your person.
I think that's important when you don't have to compromise your creativity and your approach to your final product, because that is your final product. we go to Apple for a specific kind of product, and people go to Android based, certain kind of products, and for everyone's purpose, it has its own purpose, and everyone has their own thing that they love, and they're both very successful, both of those. So I just love hearing more and more people saying that and being more vocal about that, because I think sometimes we want to say yes to everybody because we feel like if we don't, something else may not come our way, and this might be the only chance to do something. And when you say no to something that's not the right fit, then you're left to be open to say yes for that perfect fit,
And that has happened a couple of times. And I think the more it did happen, the more I realized I was like, okay, I need to, kind of stand my ground, and, I'm trying with my new website that you guys are doing. I don't want to be just like a wedding videographer that someone's like, all right, I'm gonna check that off the list.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna, I want someone that comes to me that wants a video that I push out, like a video that they see I push out. I don't want, just to be.
Your style is so specifically you that I swear if I didn't see Katt Films, in the post, I would know it was yours. And I think that's an amazing thing that you've accomplished so early in your business. And I think I'm very excited for this wedding coming up, that you're really going to incorporate all those layers that you're, because it's really just the beginning. And as creative people, we just evolve more and more and more. And I'm just really excited to see in 2022, what does Katt Films looks like in 2023,
I have a list.
It's just gonna keep okay, so let's just dream big. 2025, what is your dream? 2025 hits, what do you see? You don't have to tell us all your secrets. There are some things that you should keep to yourself, but what's going to make you feel happy with your business, you've accomplished what you wanted to?
Honestly, would be to take a little bit lesser weddings, but I would also like to be more present with the wedding. So say 5 years from now, I would be at their rehearsal dinner, since a lot of the groom's parents do speeches. So typically during weddings, the bride's parents will speak, and sometimes the groom's parent will too, but mainly the bride's parent will speak. The groom's parent typically speaks during the reception. I mean, not the rehearsal the day before. I'm never there. I do offer to be there, but it's something I would like to one day include and
be like, this is just what happens, honey. I'm gonna be here.
Welcome to weddings. I'm gonna be during, because there are moments, and I'm I don't want to miss those. And then lately, a lot of people have been having brunches and a fun party afterwards, wedding weekends. Is a goal to be at. I have one wedding weekend next year I'm excited about.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
That's so exciting.
Those are always so much fun.
I love talking about this because these are things that I don't really think about, that
I'm an analyzer.
Could be, these are those memories that are 50 years from now, they're going to want to see that, you know?
Yes.
I love that. Yeah. I can't wait for you just to be assert yourself in that space and be okay, what time is the rehearsal dinner? I'm gonna show up at this time.
I'll be
blah,
there.
Blah, blah, blah. Okay, and you're definitely having a brunch, right? Because I only do weddings with brunches.
I have my mimosa ready.
Yes.
And and it might not happen, but I just want to be there through the beginning to the end.
Yeah, it absolutely
instead of just the wedding. And
I love that.
I love that too.
I 100% support that. That is such a good idea.
And then I'm do I need to get married again so I can have a video that I will say during probably 2010, you know, that wasn't quite a priority. I mean, like, I feel like the wedding. Okay, so side note, I, you know, have a history of wedding photography. I did do wedding photography as a business, which I have since retired from. But it is, you know, I remember like the explosion of like Style Me Pretty and Wedding Chicks and these like top wedding blogs and Pinterest weddings and all that stuff, and it's everywhere. And but it was all focused on the photography, because video really wasn't a big supported thing on social media, but photos were. And now we're seeing that evolution of, wow, videos are really the thing on social media. And now photography is still important, but it's, I don't know, it's just different, you know? And so I love seeing, one, you have to have, you know, your photos, but have seen more and more people like, yes, the videography of our wedding is so important, to where those are just like two, I feel like now becoming like those are two important things in the budget.
They've married.
Right? Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
they have
2019.
married. Photography and videography have gotten married.
Yes.
You're right.
Well, in like 2019, like I was finding myself being like close to the last vendor. Like I'd be around like with the cake to like DJ, like around like that area.
Yeah.
But then this year, like one of the first. Like it usually kind of goes like venue, photographer, and then videographer.
Wow.
And I, like, you know, since I taught myself back in 2018, I have seen it has definitely grown. I'm like, wow, how did I get that lucky to like get in that stage? Yeah, that perfect little, you know, I was able to teach myself, and then like, 'cause at first I was like, there's no way I can like make a living out of this. This would just be like extra fun money. To, you know, like to kind of have fun with. And now I'm like,
and
your
then to
gut
have
knows
doing this
every knows. Yeah, your body always knows before your brain knows every time.
Well, like, and the great community, the great photography and wedding community, really helped. Kind of like, you know, make me feel included too. To where, like, you know, I had talked with Lindsay from the Deliciously Ordinary back in 2019, maybe, like right when she was beginning as well, and you know, telling her like about my videography dreams and, you know, wanting to shoot weddings, and she gave me advice, and Elena and Sarah gave me advice, and you know, that's what I like so much about, you know, the industry here is, you know, we're just all one big team.
Yeah.
And just want the best for everyone. And I love how you said that you can see my work even if my name wasn't on there, because that was always like what I admired about, you know, Lindsay's and Elena's, Sarah's work, because I could always tell like immediately that they shot that photo or she made those flowers. And I was always like, I want that. Like, I want someone to be able to see my work and be like, that's Katt Films.
Like, you do such a good job. You do a really, really good job.
That really made my heart flutter whenever you're
really
like,
good.
That.
Well, it's all the truth, you know. It's so inspiring to hear people who, you know, have this desire to do something different. And I love that you taught yourself, because, you know, regardless of how we learn something, I think the most important thing is being able to take it and then interpret it as yours, you know. And so I think you had a really cool opportunity to learn by yourself, and then to take what you're learning and use your own gut instinct, you know, of what you wanted that craft to be for yourself and for your clients. And I really admire that. I think I think the stars align for you and everything. So
thank you.
It's been a joy to like watch, your business grow and like be able to talk to you, through, here and there. We always like connect on like Instagram and, in the
I know I'm always
DMs and
like,
stuff.
Brittany, you guys are my biggest fans. Like other than my mom and my fiance. Like I was like, oh, you guys are my biggest fans.
I'm a hopeless romantic though. Give me a love story and I'm like, where's my popcorn? I gotta know what happened. Like I'm here for this, that's my favorite thing to do. I don't know. I'm like I said, hopeless romantic. So you're like in the right industry for that, Kelsey.
Well, I'm definitely the cheesy person.
Yeah.
Well,
good.
That's what we're here for, is the Hallmark moments, And I will add, I had my computer up to show your website, but apparently we've talked so long that my battery died on my computer. So I am so sorry. I'm not going to be able to bring up your website during our live stream, but I will have it in the comments. And, everyone needs to check out Katt, Katt Films.com. And, we are going to be having a new look to that later this year. And, super excited about all the things we've talked about and getting your new logo up there and all that cool stuff, Kelsey.
I'm excited.
I love, and I'll just add, like, not only do you know your style in, your videography and how you tell the stories, but you knew exactly what you wanted with your logo without like telling me. But like I was able to get so much direction from you that I was able to put together some options for you, and it felt like we hit the nail, I can't even say what I'm trying to say.
Hit the nail
on the head. Yes. With that and like your color scheme and all those things. That's what I really love about you, is you're like, these are the colors that represent me. This is the kind of stuff that represents me.
I love that.
You know yourself, and I think that can be so hard for a lot of people. And for you to be so technically new in your business and to be so aware of your brand before it's even like concrete is really an amazing thing.
Yeah.
I would like to thank 2020 for that. Long walks through SIU and plotting is how I came up with all that. I was like,
wow. I love that.
Too much
I love
free
it
time.
too.
Well, and another thing too is you're like, oh, this is like the kind of colors I wear every day and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, like she is living her brand, like in her color palette, in her
smart.
closet.
And I was like, oh, I gotta wear my green shirt.
I do too.
I was like, oh, now I'm like shopping. I'm like, oh, that's my brand color. I'm gonna buy it.
I love that.
That is so smart. Okay, I need to incorporate that more in my life because I'm trying to think
it easier to find things to wear.
Pink.
Yeah. Well, I went with pink, but I have a very light pinkish complexion, so I'm trying to find out.
She wears it every day.
I need to find. I know my complexion is my brand, and it's like my pink cheeks, blushing all the time. But anyways, Kelsey. So I won't take up any more of your time. I know you got your honey and all and all that, and your life to live and stuff to edit, but. I just want you to tell people like how they can work with you, through weddings, through branding, and then, how they can connect with you.
Yeah. You can actually connect with me through my website at kattfilms.com. I have a contact page that honestly, that's the fastest I can get to you. Facebook and Instagram, I respond to those messages as well. But sometimes they get hidden, so it might be a little bit slower. Sometimes they don't, but and also I do have a TikTok page. I did have one video that went like viral on that.
Whoa!
But
I love
and
that.
that's Katt Films too. It's really easy to find, but I'm and then I will be posting pretty soon about the spots open for the videos, branding videos
for Christmas. Very cool.
Perfect. So if you're a small
Christmas
business,
will be here behind the corner, and also home videos. I will be kind of promoting that out
that'd be such a good gift
for
idea
the holidays as well.
Yeah.
I usually start promoting it around October, but that's gonna be sooner too, due to like everything.
We have to hide this video from Mom. She better not be on the stream.
Mom, if you're watching right now, you better get off of here.
She would have commented by now.
She would have.
Yeah.
We need to see what she's up to. But Kelsey, I love that. I am a huge fan of yours and will continue to be so. So we will be cheering you on.
Yeah.
And if you're a small business who needs, a cool branding video and, to inform your customers of your promotions, check her out. And okay, actually, I do have one more question for you. Mm-hmm. Do you travel or are you only staying in the 618 area?
I travel a lot. So I'm in St. Louis a lot. I'm not in Chicago. I was in Chicago area up north a few times last year. And I'm traveling to Tennessee and Kentucky this year. So
cool.
All the way around.
I love that. Well, okay, then maybe if you're not local, there could be an opportunity to work with Kelsey. So hit her up and see what can happen. Well, Kelsey, thank you so much for joining us. And like I said, we're big fans, and I can't wait to continue to watch your business grow.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, it was good talking to you again.
And my dog.
Yes.
Oh, no,
Moxie.
She's just late.
All right. Well, you guys have a good night. I'm going to hit the end button. Bye. Thanks for watching.
Bye.